Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's your good friend Matt back again today at the only place that we always can be, Matt's Wrestling Collectibles, right here on YouTube. And today we are going to do a second figure tour, a room tour, as we have moved. We're in a new spot, a new room, and it is time for everybody to see what we have going here. Starting off with the back wall, which is all Mattel Elites, or at least what I call the back wall in here. A lot of good figures. Couple to, I guess, showcase and let you guys see. We've got Chris Jericho, the ringside exclusive. And I love that attire. I was so happy to finally get that. Got a really good price on that one on eBay. And let's go even to this right here. We got Gold Dust. I love this figure. I love this outfit. Try to get rid of that glare for you. But it is one of my favorites that they've done of him. I really would like to get the Elite 6 again at some point. As most of you know, I am recollecting at this point, and for any of you that were following me before, my old channel, Matty G 401, that is no longer in use, so we are restarting from scratch right here again, all this time later. I'm actually going to do a small, I guess you could call it maybe a biography-style video. I'm going to tell everybody about Matt's Wrestling Collectibles, the story behind it, how it started, you know, how it ended, and how we've gotten back into it today. So, again, just kind of giving you guys a quick glance and look here. A lot of good figures, a lot of guys that I grew up watching, especially through the Attitude Era. I really started getting into wrestling and watching wrestling probably in about the end of 97, early 98. So a lot of guys that are on this wall, a lot of men and women that I watched growing up that just made wrestling what it was. And I think for anybody can say that the time they were watching wrestling as a kid, of course, always the best. But there is a lot even today that I do still like, but I just feel that from that solid decade of 98 to 2008 was definitely the period for me. We come over here, this is the desk, this is the area where I'm always either searching for figures or trying to find something or doing something, maybe filling an order. And as you can see back here on the desk, because they fit in so perfectly on that bottom row, we've got a lot of ringside exclusives. Edge, Hogan, Warrior. We've got Undertaker, Walter, now Gunther. We've got the NWO, Cena, and you know, it ain't funny because it's so much money. Cameron Grimes. So, you know, we also got this one over here. I always call this a ringside exclusive, even though I think technically it is not, but a great two-pack that I did get off ringside at the time. And I love that Goldberg Brett 2-pack. I don't know if Brett likes it too much, but you know how that goes. But yeah, so we have a great wall of Elites back here. And then come over into another little section I tried to throw together for you guys today. We got some video games, and I have a pretty solid video game collection, about 150 games or so. These are some of the wrestling titles that we have in there. Try to see if you can get back there. There's a few stuffed in the back there. We got WCW. We've got WWF In Your House. We've got the original SmackDown. We've got the SmackDown 2, Know Your Role. And then as you come out here, you can see we've got just about every SmackDown title that was in the originals before they switched over to the SmackDown vs. Raw, which we do have the very first one there, which is 05. We also do have 06 for the PSP. We've got 07 again on the PlayStation 2. And 2010 on the PlayStation 2. And we come over into the PS3 games. We've got a couple of good titles there. I really do like WWE 13. It's probably out of those three my favorite. I do like Legends of WrestleMania. Another great game. Definitely good for a challenging type of game, you know, trying to specifically do certain tasks as they kind of have continued with in the series of wrestling games to unlock other things. And then we got Fire Pro Wrestling World Tour. Not the greatest game. It's a little bit different if you're used to playing, you know, years of WWE games and even some of the other ones that have been around. I mean, even WCW, or even if we go back to some of the N64 games. So Fire Pro Wrestling, not the greatest when you're used to a certain style, but I did play a little bit on it. Was a good time. Just got to be, you got to really be into it, I think, to put some hours into that game, but as we go over here, we got some New Japan figures. And then we also got The Rock and Hogan from their WrestleMania 18 bout. And we've almost got Mean Gene fully built. We just are missing the head at this point. And then if you come over here, we get into some UFC figures. And we've got Cowboy Cerrone Over there, Khabib, Max Holloway, DC, Daniel Cormier. We got John Jones, who just recently fought about a week or so ago. 2 Conor McGregors, Israel Adesanya, Uriah Faber, and Jorge Masvidal. As we come down here to Amanda Nunes and the late, great Kimbo Slice, which is actually a Jax figure, which is really cool. I was happy to get that. I don't know if we'll ever see a Kimbo in the new Jazzwares line of UFC figures, but kind of a crazy story when you think about it. WWE figures were being made by Jax. They switched over to Mattel. Right before that switch, UFC figures were being made by Jax, so they were all in scale to one another. Then the UFC figures went from being made by Jax to now Jazzwares, and now WWE is going from Jax to Mattel. So again, in scale to one another. The only ones that unfortunately do not scale is the very first series that they made there, which is from the Conor all the way over to the corner. They are extremely small, but from the second series, or what they call Series 1, that Conor, the Israel Adesanya, Faber, the Jorge Masvidal, and the Amanda Nunes there, they all are in scale with Mattel and Jazzware figures, which is pretty cool. We've got the J.J. Dillon Build-A-Figure Ric Flair over here, and we do have the J.J. Dillon fully built. He's over on the shelf over there. We'll show you him in a minute. Couple of tickets from the shows that I've been to. Unfortunately, it wasn't a thing to hold on to them back in the day, so I wish I had more to show, but those are the ones I currently have. For any of you that did follow my old channel of Matty G 401, you would have seen something similar to this in my videos. This was the room that I was in for quite some time, many years, and just a few pictures for you of some older stuff, and actually at a time where we were taking pictures and getting them developed. And I don't know if we do that anymore. So, at least not myself. I don't really have a reason to get pictures developed or, set photos like that. Everything is in the phone these days. From there, before we go any further, I guess we'll take you down to the second shelf here. This second and third shelf is all stuff that I have for sale. So if you ever want to check that out, you can get me on Facebook, and you can also get me on eBay. If you go to Facebook, you just look up Matt's Wrestling Collectibles. As easy as it can be, right? Matt's Wrestling Collectibles on Facebook. And if you go to eBay, it is MWC. That's Matt's Wrestling Collectibles, MWC 2008. So MWC 2008. And you can check out all my listings on there as well. If you are on Facebook, it is a little bit cheaper. They do offer a better rate than eBay does anyway. So if you guys want to check that out, always greatly appreciated. Over here, we have the small corner of Jax figures. We've got the classic superstars, which I never thought I would ever collect again in my life. But as always, we always come back to what we love. And a few of these figures up here are just figures that I consider to be maybe guys or girls that we won't see made by Mattel. I'm not saying that that's impossible. It just might not happen. As far as like the Chief J Strongbow and the Tank Abbott. And then we also come over here to possibly Kevin Sullivan, Luna Vachon, Al Snow, Spike Dudley, Buff Bagwell. Those I don't know if we will ever see in Mattel. Some of these over here I don't think we'll ever see in Mattel either. Obviously, Shelton Benjamin has been made. But Charlie Haas, we've got Johnny Stamboli in there, and I apologize for the glare. I am going to get some better lighting in here by the time we do our next video, guys. I promise you that. So we got Johnny Stamboli in there with Chavo Guerrero. Obviously, Chavo being released multiple times in the Mattel line, especially in Elite Series 5, I believe, which was a great figure of him, which I still own. Down here, we've got Mr. Kennedy, Kenny from the Spirit Squad, the late great Test. Come down another row, we've got the late great Crash Holly, and one of my favorite figures, which is the Sandman. When this came out, I drove my mother literally insane trying to find this figure, and of course sold that one. This is a recent one purchased to add to the new beginning of the collection. So that is the small Jax area, and we've got a couple of ring banners from the new gen arena ring. Hung those up over the doorway just because it was kind of a space filler, but it does look good up there, and I do like that. As we pan off to the right here, you are getting the AEW wall, which I am definitely working on all the time. I mean, I'm always looking for new figures from them. They have a great line. I just wish that they would make maybe a few more varieties of guys and girls. It seems to be, a lot of the same thing over and over again, and I get it. Maybe it's, just all in getting the molds and things done. I get it's not an easy process just to put a figure out, but just seems like we've gotten a lot of the same stuff, and Even up here, if you can actually see, we've got the 1 of 5,000 CM Punk back there. Give you a better look at him next to his regular version. And good story and funny story on that. I ordered from Ringside the regular version of Punk that you see there, and I actually got the chase, which was really cool. So on the next order, we reordered the original one again, and I said, wouldn't this be crazy if I got two 1 of 5,000 CM Punks? But unfortunately, we did not. But big shout out to Ringside. Ringside's been my spot for a very long time. I've probably been buying figures from them since, who knows, maybe 2002 or 3. It's definitely the place to go for wrestling figures. So huge shout out to Ringside Collectibles. And now we're going to start to even give them more of a shout out because we've got nothing but Ringside exclusives up here, or just about. So we've got the Blood Brothers, Cody and Dustin, and then we've got behind that the Britt Baker Blood and Guts. Those are both Ringside exclusives, as well as the CM Punk Ice Cream Bar exclusive, which I love. I was so happy to get that. I don't think I'll be chasing the Elite 16 figure again with that one. Unfortunately, not in wrestling tights, but we can live with it. And then we've got the Supreme Edition Cody Rhodes Walmart exclusive. It's got a different set of trunks than the original one. Over here, we've got the Brody Lee and -1 Ringside exclusive. Love this pack. It was just something that you have to get for a collection, especially if you're as into this as some of us are. I mean, it's just awesome that they made his son, and I think what a great tribute that is to them, and I hope to see big things from him in the future. I'm sure, maybe a decade down the road, we'll be hearing that name again. And as we move down here, we've got another Blood and Guts. It is the Kenny Omega and Jon Moxley 2-pack barbed wire exploding deathmatch. So another good one there that I really love. I mean, the details in it is great. I love that they are doing these blood figures. I used to make them as a kid with, Sharpies and stuff, and I remember having a whole section of them at my stand at the time, selling, Blood and Guts style figures. Up here, we've got Owen Hart, probably the first figure I think that's been legally made of him in roughly 20 years. So that's pretty cool. Was happy to get that and add him to the collection, even though there's been some hate on the head scan, but I do love that Owen, and I'm glad that we've got that in the collection. Then we've got another Owen Hart over here, which is from like 1999. I believe it says right actually on the shoe there, 99 or 98. One of the first figures that I ever had. Hung on to them forever. And as you see, these figures here are all figures that I've had since I was a kid. Funny enough, the Zebra Pants Shawn Michaels there is the first wrestler that I ever got collecting. So that is something that I hold dear to my heart, and I'm happy that I still have that all these years later. We've got the Dude Love over there. We've got Cactus Jack on this side, the Faces of Foley. We've got the Ultimate Warrior. He's missing a leg. He had one too many matches. He was doing Extreme before Extreme was Extreme. He knew Paul Heyman before Paul Heyman knew himself. So he is legless, unfortunately, but still holding on to him. We've got the Hasbro Ric Flair back there. We've also got the Goldberg that came out in the WCW series where it was, I think, him, Hogan, and Sting all came on motorcycles, so he's permanently set in that biker position. We've also got another Hasbro over here, Nails. I don't know, always kept them. Just something weird about the figure I always liked and hung on to it forever. As we pull away, we've got Squinkies. I don't know if you guys remember this, but yep, Squinkies were a thing. Kept a few of them. We got Hornswoggle, Gold Dust, Booker T, Mr. Perfect, the Honky Tonk Man, and Rey Mysterio. So those are, again, maybe an oddity that I've kept in the collection for quite some time. We've got a little bit of the Hogan Macho Man shelf over here. None of these shelves are really devoted to anything, but when I get multiples of a guy, try to keep them together. So we've got Hogan kind of going through the years, going through the eras. We've got the Macho Man back there in the NWO attire. We've got the New Gen Macho exclusive there. Love that figure. I was happy to be able to get that, as well as what we're about to show over here, which is the Doink and the Diesel back there behind the Warrior. And then we've got Undertaker and Kane coming up to the front there. As we drop down, we get The Rock. We get John Cena back there again. We got Roman Reigns, another Cena, and a Jeff Hardy Fan Takeover exclusive, as well as the Ultimate Warrior up here is a Fan Takeover exclusive. And the Hogan in the back corner there is a Fan Takeover exclusive. So if I did not already mention that, I apologize. But I do love all these Ultimates. I don't buy every Ultimate, but these are definitely ones I really do like. As you guys may go through this video, you might say, hey, Matt, we've noticed something's not right. We've got figures that look a little different than they should be. So, yes, there are times that I open up a figure and I might do something to try to change it up a bit. We've got the Rock's Versace style shirt in there from his Entrance Greats figure. Threw the shirt that he came with on him because I just kind of like the way that it looked in there. Same thing with the Cena in here. And again, I apologize for the lighting. But the Cena there, he's got all his gear on in the pack. And we've also got the Chain Gang Soldier shirt, which actually came with a exclusive Jax figure from many years ago. But it still fits. It's a decent size. You know, it looks a little bit baggy, kind of that style that Cena was wearing at the time. So it does work on the Mattel figures. Down here, we've got the Target exclusive Batista. We've got Ric Flair, another fan takeover Triple H. Again, I've done a little bit of just, you know, I don't know if you want to call it just mix and match or swapping. We put the shirt that he came with on him, and the shirt that's in there is from his Elite Series 7 figure. I'm actually still searching for the Hornswoggle from that set. And I do have the Shawn Michaels, thankfully, already. So once we get the Hornswoggle, I'm probably going to skip out on the Triple H and kind of just keep continuing with the DX figures from there. We've got the Shawn Michaels and the Brock Lesnar from Series 4, the re-release that was on ringside, so I had to get those, save a little money on those before they maybe jump up in price again. We come down to the defining moments and the single Entrance Greats figure that I do have. So from left to right, we've got Hogan, Warrior, Jeff Hardy, Sting, and Ric Flair. And then as we go onto the shelf here, we have, from left to right, we've got the J.J. Dillon Build-A-Figure. We then have, God, I'm going to have to turn around and look because I always forget this guy's name for some reason and it's not right. Paul Ellering. Yeah, there we go. I'm probably even saying it wrong still. But we got the Build-A-Figure, Paul Ellering figure. We have the Build-A-Figure Dominic Mysterio from the Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, Custody of Dominic match at SummerSlam. We then have the Elite 5 Chavo Guerrero, who is complete. He comes with all his accessories he had in the package then. And then we've got the Build-A-Figure McMahon from the WrestleMania set and the Build-A-Figure Jimmy Hart from the Royal Rumble set. As we come over here, we have a few more Ultimate Editions, and these are the Coliseum Collection, Funk, and Hogan. I did pass currently on the second set or wave that they're doing with Jake the Snake and Rick Rude, only because I have other figures of them, and I just think that, you know, it might not be something to jump on right this moment. From there, we have the Ultimate Bray, we have Alexa Bliss, Mr. T, and Jeff Hardy over there. And then as you come down here, we've got the box for the Coliseum Collection, Funk, and Hogan. And next to that is the No Holds Barred San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Hogan and Zeus. As we pan a little bit to the left here, just the start of the video game collection, little piece there. And as you work your way over here, you can see we have a little bit more. And as we go down to the next shelves, this is kind of where the DVDs start. We've got cartoons and stuff like that on this side. And as you make your way over here, it's a little bit more to the box sets, series, stuff like that. Robin Big, Viva La Bam, things that I grew up on that I absolutely just love. As we get to this side, we have a few figures that are a little bit older. And then it goes back into some newer stuff. So as you can see, the red and black hourglass packages here. We have Skip Sheffield, Michael Tarver, and David Otunga. We also have Darren Young and Justin Gabriel. And then we have Christian and Heath Slater, all guys that were in the Nexus. I'm still working on completing them, but we are getting there. Down here we have a 2-pack. It was McMahon and Punk with the kendo sticks. The McMahon is in there. The Punk is not. I'm actually searching for that Punk. He did get sold off with a lot of the items that were at the flea market back in the day, so I did a lot of stuff like that too, you know, buying packages, selling one figure, keeping another. Some regrets, but, you know, we'll get it back here soon enough. As we pan over, we've got the Ghost Collection. Jeez, now I've been talking too long, guys. We have the Ghostbusters series collection up there. It's got Cena, HBK, Undertaker as the Ghost, The Rock, and Austin, which is awesome. I love that I've got the Briscoe man himself, Gerald Briscoe. You know, he's large and in charge on the corporation alongside with Pat Patterson, the first ever Intercontinental Champion. And don't forget that. Happened in Rio de Janeiro. I don't know if there's footage, but some say it did. As we continue to scroll over here, we have some other figures, just random box sets or series from the white packaging to the blue and down to the hourglass. But some really good figures to show quick. We've got the Cena up there in the corner, Toys R Us exclusive. We got the APA, Kurt Angle, Dude Love, Ultimate Warrior, Bob Backlund, The Undertaker. A lot of good figures up here. And even coming down here, some figures that I kept and hung on to over the years. Don't know how it was these guys, but we got Cody Rhodes. Always loved that figure with the face mask. And then we've got Cena from the Build-A-Figure set, Toys R Us exclusive. Same thing with Daniel Bryan and The Undertaker, all Toys R Us exclusives, and as well as the Stone Cold ringside exclusive. And then we come down here. We've got a couple more guys. The Shield from their first ever Elites just need to get the Roman Reigns. We got Bruno Sammartino. Come down to the Hourglass Elites. We got Jericho from 4, Michaels from 7, CM Punk from 11. Also Nexus attire. Very, very great figure. I love that figure so much, and as well as the Michaels. Then we come down here. Love The Rock from the Legend Series. Legend Series 3. Had to get that. We do have Kevin Von Erich on the way very soon, but Kerry Von Erich sitting here waiting for his brother to arrive. And then once we get that Kevin Von Erich in, it will be fantastic. Now, let's get into this before this phone dies. Let's see if we can finish this off, guys. We've got some weapons over here. We've got some accessories, ladders, chairs. We've got stairs, we've got barbed wire boards, we've got tires, we've got everything under the sun, trash cans, stretchers, dumpsters. We got a skee ball set. We've got a little bit of everything here, guys. And then as we come up, we've even got a little bit more. And this is just the video games again from Super Nintendo, Sega, even N64. So let's see if we can even get this entrance on here. There we go. Whoa, now we're doing big things. So now we've got all that there for you. Some video games to see again. N64 games and whatnot. And then we got another piece of the collection that I kind of wish I never got rid of, was the WrestleMania Anthology. But again, we do have a new box set on the way. And a couple of DVDs that I just put in there to hold their place. Alright guys, so now as we turn around, we come back to this wall here. This is where we watch all the fights. This is where we watch the pay-per-views. This is where we see everything when it's happening, when it's live. We've got some consoles over here. We've got the NXT War Games cage, some John Cena cologne, and we've got some wrestling magazines down the bottom here. But guys, with that being said, I was trying to keep this quick because I already gave you a whole room tour earlier this year, a couple of months ago. So without further ado, this is going to wrap up the figure room tour, the second one of this year. Hope I'm not getting you guys too dizzy. But I hope you all enjoyed, and I will definitely catch you guys very soon in the next video. Stay tuned.